There it was, Linda's gleaming white luxury crossover, tipping forward into the murky retention pond on my ranch. The tires churned uselessly, mud bubbling up like a witch's brew as she stood on the shore, hollering, "Somebody fix this." I lounged in my backhoe, nursing a thermos of black coffee, watching the chaos like it was primetime TV. You might wonder why a lifelong rancher like me would use heavy equipment to dunk a neighbor's ride. Trust me, I never picture myself making the head of a homeowners association whale like she was in a bad disaster flick. But when folks barge onto your property, turn it into their overflow lot, and host a champagne brunch on your grazing field, well, tolerance wears thin quickly. So strapping is ain't just about a vehicle in the muck. It's about pushy suburbanites who misjudged a Texan rancher, and how one bossy Linda learned that messing with private land brings ranch-style payback. If you'd asked me a couple of years ago about HOAs, I'd have shrugged and said, never tangled with one, and I aim to keep it that way. I grew up on this ranch outside Austin, Texas. My granddad broke the ground, Dad expanded it, and now it's mine. We raise longhorns, grow feed corn, and tend a few horses, nothing fancy, but reliable. Life here's about dawn patrols, the low of cattle at feeding time, and knowing your steak didn't come from a factory. No rush hour jams, no strip malls, no micromanagers. Just open sky, fence mending, and the rhythm of the seasons. Rules? Only Mother Nature's. Plan on time, keep the troughs full, watch for rattlesnakes. No busybodies dictating your mailbox color or how short your grass should be. That's the appeal, pure freedom, and it stayed that way for generations. Then the development hit. Builders snapped up acreage a half-mile from my fence line. In months, it went from open pasture to cul-de-sacs. They named it Oakwood Meadows, which cracked me up since they leveled every oak and paved over the meadows. Ads called it a premier gated enclave, like a fancy gate turned dirt into gold. And with it came the HOA crew of clipboard-toting types, convinced they were guardians of suburbia. At first, I ignored them. Let them obsess over lawn ornaments and garage door shades on their turf. As long as they stayed put, I'd do the same. But then Linda showed up. Her full name was Linda Hargrove, but she introduced herself as the Community Standards Director of Oakwood Meadows like she was royalty in sweatpants. She paraded around in designer activewear, issuing edicts like she ran the whole county. I met her first at the local feed store. I was picking up horse supplements, and she eyed my dusty boots like they offended her. "That's rustic," she sniffed. "But couldn't you modernize a bit? Our residents expect polish." I nearly chuckled. "Polish? Lady, this is ranch gear. It gets dirty." I kept it civil. "Folks here like it practical." She smiled thinly. "In Oakwood, we prioritize elegance. You should tour our amenity as it's worlds apart from." Her gaze flicked to my calloused hands. That was my intro to Linda's snobbery, and it was just the start. A week later, a slick flyer landed in my mailbox. Not junk Mylon invitation from the Oakwood HOA to join their enhancement initiative. It suggested voluntary alignment with their guidelines. Linda had scrawled a note. "Your ranch is the gateway to Oakwood. Let's elevate the vibe." Meaning my corral didn't fit their Pinterest board. I tossed it, but she persisted. Days later, a violation sticker appeared on my gate post, listing unsightly fencing and visible machinery. I stared, half amused, half annoyed. They had zero jurisdiction, but Linda acted like she could find me anyway. I ripped it off and forgot it. That's when I realized, to her, my ranch was an ugly annex to her paradise, and she aimed to fix it, consent or not. She didn't stop at paper. Soon, HOA patrols hovered near my boundary, notebooks out, snapping pics of my longhorns like evidence in a trial. When I challenged one, he said, "Logging aesthetic impact for review." Impacts? Those are cattle they graze and moo. That evening, nursing a beer on my deck, I shook my head. These types flee the city for country charm, then gripe about the dust. They want a postcard rural without the reality. Linda led the charge, cruising by in her crossover daily, window down, yelling critiques. Ever consider staining that bar mahogany? Your cornrows look messy from the road. My book club could use your pond for retreats it's underutilized. I tried restraint, figuring she'd tire out. But boundaries? Linda had none. She went from nagging to invading. It kicked off with signs. My land's marked clear stakes, wire, no trespass posts. One dawn, I spotted fresh, no overflow parking signs jammed along my side. HOA emblem gleaming. I yanked them. They reappeared, then multiplied. I caught her crew planning more. What gives? I demanded. The lead sniffed, preventing visual clutter from your equipment affecting Oakwood's appeal. Clutter? My tractor's on my dirt. Next, Linda tacked glossy packets to my shed door color charts for harmonious fencing, with shades like desert taupe and serene sandstone. Her note, your natural wood clashes. Time to blend. That fence? Dad built it board by board. To her, it was an eyesore. I confronted her at her patio mixer, beer in hand. My ranch ain't HOA. Quit the notices. She smirked over her wine. Borders matter less than impressions. We're uplifting the area join or get left behind. Uplifting, her buzzword weapon. Things escalated when I found HOA suits inside my pasture, measuring odor zones from the cattle. Trespassing, I barked. They shrugged, assessing runoff risks to Oakwood drains. Biology ain't a risk, it's life. That night, beer in hand, I fumed. They weren't hinting anymore. They were claiming turf inch by inch. Arrogance plus persistence equals danger. Linda? Unstoppable. Daily drive-bys. Barn still drab? Thought about a shared garden? Your pond screams potential for events. If she'd stuck to words, maybe I'd have shrugged. But Nosh crossed literal lines. One morning, her crossover sat smack on my access trail. No breakdown, just her inside. Texting. I knocked. This is my land. She cracked the window. It's idle space, and Oakwood bans street parking. Sharing's neighborly. Sharing? Move it or I will. She dared. Try our attorneys are ready. She left it for 3 days, blocking my rig, bragging to her pals. They snapped selfies, calling it extended amenities. On day 3, touring newbies, she waved, bonus parking via rural commons. I snapped, private property scram. She cooed, don't hoard space. Builds bonds. That pushed me. Farms teach patience floods, pests, but also boots on the ground moments. Her stunt sparked my plan. If she wanted parking, I'd provide a spot she'd roulette, sticky, one way down. But she doubled down. Whispers at the hardware store, integrating ranch vibes into Oakwood. Then Saturday, out my window, a pavilion by my pond, laden with quiches, mimosas, and yoga mats on my grass. Linda, hat perched, toasted, Oakwood's inaugural Ranch Fresh gathering. So authentic, I stormed over. My land, no invite. She waved, honoring your roots. Enhancing value. Horses neighed intruders. A duck bit a yogi's sock. Pack up, she threatened. Resist, and we'll push rezoning. Cooperate, or get swallowed. Snap. Her crossovers still mock me uphill. Want mess? I growled. Keep parking. She laughed. What toss corn? But I don't bluff. That night, I scoped the pond and old irrigation basin, banks soft with clay. Moonlit, I prepped. Backhoe out, loosening soil near her view spot. Churned, smooth solid-looking trap. By dawn, invisible. Soon, Linda'd learn. Monday, her convoy arrived. SUVs, a cart marked enforcement, megaphone-toting horde. Linda blared. Rancher, your setup disrupts Oakwood. Noisy livestock, ugly sheds, hazardous pond. We claim oversight. They slapped stickers everywhere, even a trough. Trespass. I yelled, ripping them. She smirked. Enforcement. I whispered, digging your grave. She threatened to sue if I touched her ride. I played cool. Wouldn't dream it's safe here. Sleepless night, her crossover taunting. Pond's edge, firm-looking but treacherous. I prepped more subtle digs. Morning, she drove straight to the scenic bank, entourage trailing. Prime for events. As she preached, I revved the backhoe. Intimidation, she scoffed. Facilitating, I said, nudging dirt behind. Ground softened, her ride sagged. Panic. Engine revved, wheels spun stuck. The crowd gasped. One push, tilt slide, nose in water. Linda shrieked. My baby. I sipped coffee, valet parking. Spectators gathered, ranchers, kids on ATVs. Linda called 911, swamp attack. Dispatcher, private land. She raged, sabotage. I grinned, gravity. Her slip into mud drew roars. Final nudge, full submersion. Cheers erupted. Cops arrived. Linda, arrest him. Deputy, your car on his turf trespass. Insurance denied. Unauthorized spot. My docs showed protected wetlands fines loomed for her stunts. HOA fled. Linda deflated. Video went viral. HOA boss gets swamped. Memes flew. Oakwood disavowed her. She vanished. Stroomer, relocated to family. 2 bills? Astronomical. Ranch? Peaceful again, pawn a legend. In the end, it wasn't vengeance, it was defense. Boundaries matter. Push M, face pushback. Linda aimed to elevate. Land elevated her hubris instead. What do you think? Was I justified or over the line? Share your take in the comments, stand your ground, or call extreme. Let's debate.